As you know, Deltarune chapters 3 and 4 have either confirmed or deconfirmed lots of theories. But which ones have been confirmed and deconfirmed? Well, today we'll find out. Also, vote on this post I made. I literally just chose this because I felt like it. Without further ado, let's begin. Let's start with the ones deconfirmed, and starting off with the big guns. Chess theory is wrong. This may not be a surprise to some since Tenna didn't seem related to a rook, but there was a lot of evidence supporting this, mainly the way king and queen behave. Unfortunately, this gets proven wrong with Tenna being a king and there being no bishop in chapter 4. This was most likely a very good red herring which fooled most of us. Now, let's talk about something that was pretty obviously wrong. That being Kami Boyji's 7 knights theory. This theory, despite having some good evidence, didn't really make any sense since the game heavily implied for there to be one knight. Now, I really liked this theory for its creativity and it did some minor stuff right, such as Susie making a dark fountain, but there just straight up being 7 knights was really unlikely. But to not seem like a complete jerk, I had a theory that was wrong. Actually, all my theories before the new chapters were released were wrong. Starting off, my weird root theory mentioned Gaster only being present in that root, but it seems more likely he'll appear in both roots in some way. Then, my crack theory about Flowey being a reincarnated Dis was wrong since Isgor would most likely have told Carol about Dis dust. My last theory was that we'd give the chapter 3 egg to Metatan. It didn't make much sense since he asked for something entertaining and I don't think an egg would entertain him. Tenna makes more sense and explains why one of Toby's friends said I missed Tenna. Now, for some theories that were right. Firstly, there's the theory of Susie being able to bleed. It was hinted at in chapter 1 and there were some unused sprites of her bleeding in chapter 2. Furthermore, there is an unused sprite of Carol bleeding. Speaking of Carol, it was a pretty common theory for her to have that name since it wasn't confirmed. It's nothing too major, but you know what was major. That's right, Oberon Smog. Now, the entire theory isn't correct. If that were the case, he wouldn't have been so friendly to us. But the fact he got Jerson being reincarnated as some weird thing that's not a lightner or a darker is actually insane. This is an example of the crack theory being right. But based on the logic, it seems like piles of Asriel's dust being deconfirmed since darkness made based on loved ones only appears in specific darkness, but this might be possible depending on who the knight is, so I won't rule this one out entirely. Now, time for some minor theories that were either confirmed or deconfirmed. Starting off, we have Toriel being a party member. Then we have a Toriel weird route along with an Undine boss fight. Next we have the weird route being an OL only thing. Then we have Catty and Jockington be in chapter 4. Then Soriel being canon. Then we have the theory the shadow crystals are important. Lastly, we have the theory of darkers not being real. So what else is there to talk about? Well, there is one theory you may have noticed me not talking about. This theory is a very interesting position which most theories do not have the luxury of. So, what is it? That's right, Woody theory. So to recap for anyone who doesn't know every nook and cranny of the theories, Woody theory was the theory that a cowboy-like character, similar to Woody from Toy Story, would be the secret boss of chapter 3. Now, as we know, it was the Roaring Knight. So, this theory has been deconfirmed, right? Well, this theory is one of, if not the only theory to have a sequel. There are 2 videos on this theory which you should check out for more evidence, but to summarize, the new theory states a Woody-like character will be the secret boss of chapter 5 since Isgor will be in it and he used to watch cowboy shows. So, the reason why I gave this theory its own segment was because it has a sequel which, while not as popular, is still likely. Heck, I'd say it's more likely than the last Woody theory. So, this is where this video going over previous theories comes to an end. I hope you enjoyed it and I can't wait to see Isgor run over Dis with a truck in chapter 5.